He's blamed the refs, he's blamed the assistant refs, he's credited West Ham players, he's talked about his team's mental fragility. Where do you want to start picking this apart?
I think the tone of his voice. He sounded to me there in that interview, Sebi, as if he's given up. I mean, I know it was criticism, but it wasn't animation. He wasn't animated in his criticism.
He's not always the brightest light at the end of the tunnel guy.
No, he's not, but he normally projects more than that. It's normally more animated and, more surly and, growly, and, you can generally tell that was like, wow, he's coming, it's like that. It was just drivelling on. I mean, it just sounded as if he wanted to be somewhere else. And that's how it feels. It's like, well, they're telling me that Sanchez hasn't been playing well and Martial should be in the side. So, I don't listen.
Making the decision.
I don't listen to what people say. It's normally what he says. And now he's saying, well, I'm listening to people. Of course he's making his own decision. But Sanchez hasn't been playing well. Pogba hasn't. Pogba got taken off. He was as bad as the next man. The most important thing here is United were abysmal by their standards. There's no getting away from it. Lose at Brighton, go out against a Championship team in Derby, get smashed by Spurs, draw with Wolves, lose at West Ham, who, have got a little bit better. They're gutless. This is the most leaderless and rudderless United team I've seen for a long time. And where is Ed Woodward and the board and the Glazers and the owners? They're saying, well, we're making money for the shareholders. We're a global brand around the world and we're growing. I understand that, but what about on the field? You can't hide that.
Let me play devil's advocate for Jose Mourinho, because he also credits West Ham's scouting for finding Diop.
He's been sarcastic.
Well, is he taking a shot there at his own board? Well,
yes.
Okay. So are Manchester United's players actually that good? Because you watched this match, at least the first 45 minutes. If you wouldn't have told me who was who, West Ham looked like the team with the better players.
And they haven't. And that's the key. It was another thinly veiled swipe at their transfer policy. But when you look at who United have out against who West Ham have, then clearly this is we pick a 1 to 11 between the two teams. We're struggling to fit maybe one West Ham player in, maybe one. So this is saying to... And what this comes down to is, when Ed Woodward makes financial decisions, he's probably quite a clever guy. But when he gets involved in football decisions, he's hopeless, right? And clearly they need somebody that can bridge that gap with another manager, because it won't be Mourinho. He won't be there that long. But he's frustrated that he didn't get X, Y, and Z in the summer, and he's saying, well, West Ham scouted this young guy. But the bottom line is what he's got should be better than what we're saying. And the sooner... I'll say it now, and I don't like saying it, and I said it, I think it was middle of the week on this show. The sooner they get rid of this manager and change the structure of this club in terms of their policy with players, then the better it'll be going forward, because it isn't going to get much better. Well, let's have a look at the big storylines this Saturday in the Premier League. All the big clubs playing today, and let's be honest, that's really all we're interested in. All the movers and shakers, the winners and losers, and of course Man United, the big talking point. Again, that early match at West Ham, who have been going better recently, but it was another shambles of a performance from Mourinho's men. Never really in this game, and just how long is he going to survive at this club? That is the big story. Unai Emery finding his feet at Arsenal. They didn't get it all their own way, but it was a good 2-0 win. Mesut Ozil with the second goal there. Everton, some bad results of late. A new open attacking style under Marco Silva. That's a good win against a pretty good Fulham side. Huddersfield, struggling. Can't buy a point. We're beaten easily by Tottenham. Harry Kane with 2 there. Don't think there was ever a doubt that Man City were going to beat Brighton. Don't believe the scoreline. It was tight at 2-0. It wasn't. Sergio Aguero once again on the score sheet. Another side struggling. Newcastle lost at home to Leicester City. And Wolverhampton Wanderers, who've been excellent since returning to the Premier League with a 2-0 win over Southampton. They're in the top half of the Premier League, and top and above Manchester United, who've spent millions. And of course, the big game of the day, the last game of the day at Stamford Bridge, saw Chelsea and Liverpool go head to head for a point, where Eden Hazard was the man of the moment for Chelsea again, and Daniel Sturridge off the bench with a scintillating goal to take a point back to Liverpool. Two managers look quite happy at the end. A fair result, you would say. Liverpool joint top at the league with Manchester City. And that is all your storylines from this Saturday in the Premier League. Right, let's get to the crux of the matter here. This is one of the most gutless Manchester United teams I've seen for a long, long time. Leadership, they have none. Rudderless from the manager, rudderless on the park, and it seems apart from the finances, rudderless at the top. All the talk this week was Pogba, the captaincy, the nonsense, the negativity. He played and he was as bad as the next man. Paul Pogba, like the rest, has had as many opportunities as most to show what a quality player he can be. And more often than not, he fails. I'll leave this with you. Matic, McTominay and Fellaini as a three in midfield, a kind of struggling Premier League side. OK, they've picked up of late, but they've been struggling. There was a chance to go there and really hammer home a victory and take a bit of pressure off. So what's going to change? Mourinho is terminal at Manchester United. I don't know if it'll be today, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, next week, next month, at the end of this season. But he's not going to last too long. What is Ed Woodward and the Glazers doing? Are they going to show some stomach and some fight and try and turn this round? Yes, Manchester United is a global brand that makes lots of money, whilst on the field they are being overrun by mediocre teams. Frankly, they should do the right thing and put Jose Mourinho out of their misery. The football is atrocious, the results are abysmal, and they're going absolutely nowhere, whilst the rest in the Premier League, certainly the top boys, are on the front foot and going forward. There's no stewardship, there's no leadership, and there's no quality, and at the end of the day, there's no results either. And this is a results business. Unfortunately for Mourinho, I'm afraid the end is nigh.
Chelsea spent a lot of money on Kepa, the goalie. Should he have saved that?
No. I mean, it's in the top corner. It's bending away from him. I mean, just a stunning finish. So I mean, if we're going to start blaming goalkeepers for not saving balls that go in the top corner, I mean, we're taking analysis to a new level. I mean, that was just a stunning goal. I mean, it really was. Maybe there's one or two out there who think he should have saved it. I don't. I think it was great, and I think it was just reward for Liverpool.
Yeah, fair result.
Yeah, I think fair result. I mean, Chelsea played well, but I think when you see and I'm not one for delving too much into stats, but I think Liverpool edged almost every one. They edged the possession, they edged the efforts in goal. I think where it's fallen down for them at the moment is the final third. You know, clearly Mo Salah is not having the year that he had last year. He was never going to have a repeat of that. Never. But he can still have a very consistent goal-scoring season, but he's having a few hesitant moments, shall I say, like the chance we saw in the video where he went round the goalkeeper. I think last year, Seb, he would have taken that early and maybe clipped it over the goalkeeper. You know, Firmino's movement is still the same. Mane needs to chip in with the goals. Just that final pass, I saw it from Liverpool when they played Spurs at Wembley. They absolutely dominated and almost threw the game away because they could have had the game dead and buried, but that little final pass in the final third is not quite happening for them. Their build-up play is great. Their defence in general over the start of the season has been fantastic. The Gomez and Van Dijk partnership, the goalkeeper's been pretty much excellent. But I just think that final third is where they've just struggled a little bit in some of the bigger games to kill it off. So I think it was important for Sturridge to get that goal just to keep the Premier League momentum going.
You mentioned Salah. He's gotten in so many good spots in today's match. And yet, as you mentioned, the final touch.
And this season in general.
Sure. And Klopp comes out after the game and says, look, you know, I took him off, but there's nothing to worry about. I know you say he can't repeat last season, but is there something to worry about here as you watch him play?
I wouldn't worry about it, but I would like to think that Liverpool have to share the goals out a little bit more rather than be so reliant on, what was it, 40 plus he got last year. So that's where others are going to have to step up. That's where the goals have to come from midfield. That's where maybe Roberto Firmino has to improve his goal scoring record. His link-up play is great. So that would be the main concern. I think he will get his quota of goals, Mo Salah. But I think others will have to step up if Liverpool really want to push Man City and maybe Chelsea, who knows. But the bench is strong, the bench is deep, they're in good shape, they're unbeaten in the Premier League, they've just gone to a potential rival, they've played really well, they could have won the game, they had that one-on-one we saw, they had Shaqiri chance we saw, with David Luiz off the line, Hazard did have a one-on-one as well that he could have scored, so Chelsea missed one or two chances. But I thought it was two progressive coaches. Liverpool, we know how they want to play. We know how Sarri wants to play. Nobody took a backward step and went in the corner and put the gloves up.
You enjoy this one aesthetically?
Yeah. Well, what the Chelsea owner has wanted, Roman Abramovich, is somebody that's going to give him a fluent style that he can enjoy, and maybe this is what Sarri's going to give. But I just think when Liverpool come to town, generally we're always going to see an open game, no matter who they play.
All right, Matteo, if this was Juventus' stiffest test yet, at least in Serie A, what do we learn about them?
We learned, or rather, we were reminded, Seb, that they're probably going to win an 8th consecutive Scudetto. And the anti-Juve that the Italian media, journalists like myself, have been trying to build up is Napoli. Napoli was the team that last year went over 90 points. The team that was supposed to challenge Juve until the bitter end, and they did. They even beat Juve in their stadium down the stretch of the season. But like always, and what we've seen in the last 7 seasons, is that these teams that don't have the same wage bill as Juventus, down the stretch, they will lose points while Juventus look unbeatable. Now, they didn't bring Cristiano Ronaldo to win an 8th consecutive Scudetto. His success will be measured what they do in the Champions League. But I think that the main thing that we learned, and forgetting Ronaldo, is Paulo Dybala. He needs to be in the starting lineup. He was playing just behind Ronaldo and Mandzukic in a bit of a more narrow formation. Dybala himself said he wasn't training that well, and that's why Allegri kept him out time and time again. And this is nothing new. Dybala was kept out last season for large swaths of the season, but when he's on the pitch and when he's playing like the Dybala we know, that's when Juve is at their best. They're going to need him if they want to go as far as they can in Europe, because I do think it's all about Europe. It isn't about an 8th straight Scudetto. That would be great, but I think that's what we learned.